This video is going to be the top 5 moments from The Arrow, Season 3, Episode 18, Public Enemy. I actually really liked Lance confronting Oliver and being like, you know, everything that's ever happened is because of you, and you kept this stuff from me. And I know that Oliver kept the whole Sarah thing on the island thing, because that was Sarah's, what she wanted. She wanted that to be kept a secret from him, so you really can't blame him for that, but Lance can. And so him really drawing out and just saying, you know, because of you, all these people came here and all these things happened, and you aren't the good guy, you're the villain. And we know that Oliver really isn't the villain, but I do think that heroes every once in a while need somebody from the outside saying, you need to look at this and what happened because of this and what happened because of you, or maybe because you were here, and how in the future we can combat that. And some of it is Oliver's fault and some of it isn't. And you gotta realize from Lance's point of view and a cop's point of view, Oliver used to just straight up murder people. I don't care if you're now a non-murderer, you still murdered people and that's still something you did, and that's something that you should have to face the consequences of. Number 4, the stunt with Oliver and Laurel. So when there's the whole police chase thing happening, and they are running off the building, and they jump, and Laurel has like zero hesitation, and Oliver catches her mid-jump. The trust she had for him, and the stunt, and just everything, I think was so amazing. Number 3, Ray's love of Doctor Who. The fact that Felicity's like, oh, he knows the plot of every Doctor Who episode, and I'm not even gonna get started on that freaking love triangle thing we have going on still, but let's just ignore that. But now I really want Ray to end up meeting Malcolm Merlyn and being like, man, you look a lot like someone I know. Kind of like Captain Jack. And Malcolm Merlyn just playing it like with a straight face and being, oh yeah, I've been told that before, or something like that. That this needs to happen. Number 2, the tiny little robots, the nanobots, whatever, being injected. I am really excited, and I'm hoping that him having the tiny little robot nanobots inside his bloodstream now means that he is going to be able to shrink and grow and do all that stuff, and we're not going to have a cheap Iron Man ripoff anymore. We're going to have a badass Adam going around kicking ass. And then his line to the doctor, what if I've told you that I've invented a bunch of teeny tiny robots that are capable of entering my bloodstream, traveling to the clot, and shrinking it? And the excitement in his voice is why I love Ray as a character. And the actor just, like, gets across this really smart guy who has this quirky personality and is super excited about science so perfectly. And then number 1, Roy is the man. I half expected with Lance and Oliver in the van, and then it gets stopped when Lance opened the door for him to be shot with an arrow and killed. I thought it was either Malcolm Merlyn or the League of Assassins, although the League of Assassins would kind of, maybe they were there to be like, oh, hey, Oliver, either you can go to jail or we can take you. Decide now. But it didn't turn out to be that. It turned out that Roy was the only one with a plan, man. I have come to realize in this show that every time a male character sleeps with a female character that's part of, like, the main cast, they suddenly get, like, plus to their stats of whatever. I mean, think of Ray. He ended up figuring out his equation after he slept with Felicity, and then Roy ends up sleeping with Thea, and then all of a sudden he just, you know, gets balls of steel, and ends up saying, no, I'm the Arrow. And we know, Lance knows that Roy is Arsenal, but he can't exactly come out to the cops and be like, oh, no, hey, this guy's the red guy, you know, I know that, because then they'd be like, well, if you knew, why didn't you arrest him? And then there would be all those sorts of problems with that. So I'm wondering if Oliver and Roy are now going to go to jail, if Lance really has anything to convict Oliver on, unless they find the little quiver, like where all their stuff is. Because, you know, you're taking the word of Ra's al Ghul. What are you going to do? Bring him to court and have him testify? That just seems a little weird. Or maybe Roy just wanted to be bunkmates with Oliver. You never know. So those were my top 5 moments from this episode. This episode was a lot better than last week's episode. The dialogue's a little better, and I am still not loving the love triangle. And I'm pretty sure that as soon as Ray gets his own show, and then he's off the Arrow for most part, and then Felicity and Oliver may have a chance to get together if Felicity doesn't go with him, they're gonna have some other love interest for Oliver, and I'm just gonna start punching things.